Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Representatives Baum. Here. Campbell. Here. Camper. Cochran. Here. Faison. Garrett. Here. Hawk. Hazelwood. Here. Love. Moon. Shaw. Here. Whitson. Here. Williams. Here. Chairman Hicks. Here. You have a quorum.
All right, thank you very much. I'd like to call the Finance, Ways and Means Subcommittee to order for April the 5th, 2023. Members, do we have any personal orders or announcements? Hearing none and seeing none, we have a total of 43 bills on today's calendar. Members, we're going to, I know some members are presenting bills, so we may have to roll around a little bit, but we'll try to accommodate as much as we possibly can. We're going to begin today with item number 6. And we do have Chairman Haston here, so I'll give you a minute to get there. Item number 6 on your calendar is going to be House Bill 135 by Chairman Haston. Sir, you are recognized. We have a motion to second.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Committee. This bill would add, I'll make sure 135 is what we're on. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
This bill would add our Tennessee State Park Rangers to the same retirement package as their fellow state officers. This would mean that the state park rangers would be eligible for retirement benefits upon age 55 with 25 years of service. Currently, they're eligible at 60 years of age and 30 years of service. And with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 135. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, there is the cost associated with House Bill 135, so we will have to place it behind the budget, consider it a later date. So without objection, House Bill 135 will go behind the budget. All right, that brings us to item number 7 on our calendars, House Bill 523, also by Chairman Haston. We have a motion to second. We have a motion to second. You're recognized, sir, for a brief description.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. TDEC has historically granted aquatic resource alteration permits for the purposes of dredging sand and gravel from riverbeds that the state owns. This bill simply extends that permit process and allows it to continue with now the permittee being able to pay the state 2.5% of the market value of the finished product that is dredged.
All right, thank you, Chairman. Members, you've heard the description on House Bill 523. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 523, moving on to full finance. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 523 moves to full finance. All right, that brings us to item number 8. Item number 8 on our calendar, also by Chairman Haston, excuse me. It's House Bill 849. We have a motion to second. You have a motion to second. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill would create the Rural Schools Innovation Act, which would be a 2-year pilot program by which at least 2 rural school districts partner together to expand access to high-quality CTE education across multiple LEA campuses. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
All right, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much, members. You've heard the description. Any discussion? Chairman Williams?
Thank you. Just so that I understand, currently a lot of our LEAs in the Upper Cumberland, they do partnerships as it relates to virtual schools. What this would do would allow them to do the same similar partnership in rural communities because the resources are limited between 2 LEAs, whether their counties are segregated or not.
Chairman?
Thank you for the question. Yeah, this would create a partnership, whereas instead of 3 areas that have, high schools that are close by that have like 3 or 4 average to maybe not, to good programs that are offering at each school, for them to focus in on like 1 or 2 incredible programs at each school, and then allow for those students at those campuses to go back and forth and utilize those. So you could have one school that has a great mechatronics, one has a great welding, one that has a great, veterinary science, and then instead of having, kind of mediocre opportunities multiple times at all the schools, having one great one in the schools being able to seamlessly use those resources.
Okay, thank you. Like the bill.
Representative Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think you answered my question. I will ask, though, would the counties have to be connected, like all 3 counties joining each other?
I don't think that that's explicitly outlined in the bill, but I think that there's an understanding that there would have to be some sort of proximity where they could be able to, within a school day, be able to utilize it. So to me, I think that it's understood like that, but if we needed to put that in the bill, I understand if we needed to tighten it, but yes.
Okay, thank you. Good bill, thank you.
Chair Lady Hazelwood.
Thank you, and I like this bill a lot because it does, I think, enable us to utilize our resources more effectively. I don't know if we do this already, but I think there's also an opportunity to do this for academic courses virtually. You wouldn't even have to have these students travel. But in rural communities, I know you may not have enough students for an AP calculus course or AP world history or whatever, but collectively you could. So I think this is, this model could be used in other ways as well as these things that require hands-on, they require physical presence, which, encounters some transportation issues. Virtually now, the technology is here that we could do this, for academic courses as well. So I would just urge those of you who are in the education sector to maybe pursue that sort of model as well.
Chairman.
Thank you for that, and I'd be glad to bring that bill. I think it's a great idea. And I will just add to this as well, is what's really great about this is that the areas can create and tailor fit what they're going to offer together for what is most important for the workforce and the development in their area. It might be different around Blue Oval City in West Tennessee as it would be in East Tennessee, but they could get together, say these are the 3 areas that we need our kids focused on, and I think it would really help increase the workforce opportunity for those students.
Thank you, Chairman. Chair Lady Hazelwood? Good. All right. Further discussion? All right. House Bill 849 does have a cost associated with it, but I think you can see, I think there's certainly an appetite to help you with this bill to try to find funding for it. So without objection, since there is a cost, we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 849 goes behind the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I do want to say before you go, you and your family are certainly in our thoughts and prayers, but I know you've had a rough week with the passing of your grandfather, and we just want to let you know that to extend our condolences. You're right.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate y'all taking. We had to move the visitation up to 1 o'clock today with the storms coming in. I appreciate y'all taking me out of order. But he was my best friend. I was lucky to have him for 94 years. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. All right, members, let's go back to item number 1. All right, item number 1 on our calendars, House Bill 28 by Leader Lamberth. I've got a request here to roll this to the first calendar of 2024, so without objection, so moved. All right, brings us to item number 2. Item number 2 on our calendar, House Bill 947 by Chairman Boyd. Without objection, we will roll. All right, members, item number 2, House Bill 947 by Chairman Boyd. Without objection, we're going to roll House Bill 947 to the Hill. So moved. Brings us to item number 3 on our calendars, House Bill 1373 by Chairman Carr. You have a motion and a second. Sir, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill here just allows for us to let the ABC make the permit that would allow the J1 workers to be able to get the permit that they can be able to move the drink from maybe the bar over to the table. And that's all that this bill actually does for the J1 workers. It does not in any way apply to illegal immigrants or anything like that. That's all it does.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairman Carr. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 1373. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 1373, moving on to full finance. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 1373 moves to full finance.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee.
Thank you. Item number 4 on our calendars, House Bill 567 by Chair Lady Carringer. I have a request here to roll this 1 week, so without objection, House Bill 567 rolled 1 week. All right, that brings us to item number 5 on our calendar. It's going to be House Bill 1351. I don't think the chairman is in here, so without objection, we'll roll House Bill 1351 to the Hill. So moved. That brings us now to item number 9. And I think Chair Lady Haynes is here, so we will take up item number 9, House Bill 779. We have a motion to second. You have a motion to second. You're recognized, Chair Lady.
Thank you. Currently, there's no statutory time frame that requires a health licensure board to issue a license. This bill establishes the time for medical examiners, osteopathic examination, nursing, physician's assistants, which is 45 days, and establishes the time frame for a board of alcohol and drug abuse counselors, which is 60 days.
All right. Thank you, Chair Lady. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 779. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 779, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 779 goes behind the budget. Thank you, Chair Lady. Item number 10 on our calendars, House Bill 1484 by Chairman Hulsey. We have a motion and a second. You have a motion and a second, sir. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee. Currently under state law, The state cannot appropriate any money at all for inmates in county jails that have medical issues or pharmaceutical issues or needs. And county jails that have HIV/AIDS inmates, that medication costs on average about $3,500 a month per inmate. So this bill just changes the wording in existing state law to allow counties to ask for the Ryan White federal funds that come into the State Department of Health, if they can get a portion of that to help. And last year, there was $26 million over that came into the Health Department for the Ryan White Fund. So this just tries to open a door for counties to get some relief.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 1484. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 1484, moving on to full finance. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 1484 moves to full finance.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee.
Item number 11 on our calendar is going to be by Chairman Hurt. House Bill 898. You have a motion and a second, sir. You are recognized for a brief description on House Bill 898.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 898, as amended, would ensure land which is enrolled in federal or state conservation programs can maintain a greenbelt status. With that, Mr. Chairman, I'll take any questions.
All right, thank you, Chairman. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 898. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 898, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 898 goes behind the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee.
Chairman? All right. Item number 12 is Chairman Kiesling. I know he is chairing state government right now, so without objection, House Bill 1254 will be rolled to the hill. That brings us to Chairman Kumar. Item number 13, House Bill 1315. You have a motion to second. Sir, you're recognized for a brief description.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Committee. House Bill 1315 is based on the fact that recognizing multiple health consequences of obesity, the legislature created a chronic weight management task force in 2021. The task force met over the following year and has recommendations that say that the newer drugs for management of obesity are highly effective. They should be made more available, and especially in the 10-care program where there is an age limit of 21 and below, that age limit be removed.
All right, thank you, Chairman. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 1315. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 1315, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 1315 goes behind the budget. Thank you, Chairman.
Mr. Chairman and Committee.
All right, item number 14, House Bill 874 by Chairman Lafferty. Is he in? I do not see him, so without objection, we will roll House Bill 874 to the hill. Item number 15 is Chair Lady Littleton, House Bill 1103. You have a motion and a second. You are recognized, Chair Lady.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This creates a commission to oversee juvenile justice delinquents so that we can study cases to see where we failed them in the past to try and keep that from happening again.
All right. Thank you, Chair Lady. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 1103. Any discussion? Representative Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Chair Lady, this is one of the issues we had in our summer meeting. Is that did we discuss this in summer meeting? I'm trying to bring my thoughts back.
Chair Lady.
Yes, we did. And this is one of the things that came out of the Juvenile Justice Ad Hoc Committee that we had this past summer.
So we will move it from where it is to where are we moving this to now?
We're moving it to DCS.
DCS, and I guess I'm asking why I didn't get that in the committee, if you can answer that.
Chair Lady.
It was just, they brought me an amendment and asked me to move it over to DCS. And so we did.
Representative Shaw. Further discussion on House Bill 1103. Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 1103, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 1103 will go behind the budget. Brings us to item number 16. Item number 16 is House Bill 753 by Chair Lady Littleton. Do we have a motion second? We have a motion second. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This authorizes a utility district to reimburse members of the Board of Commission for premiums paid for participation in individual medical insurance plans and life insurance plans. I had a person that is self-employed on a commission that cannot collect the insurance, so this would just give him a reimbursement for that.
Okay.
I'm sure there's others, but this was the one that was brought to me.
Thank you for this description. Members, any discussion on House Bill 753? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 753, moving on to full finance. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 753 moves to full finance. Thank you, Chair Lady. That brings us to item number 17, House Bill 914, again by Chair Lady Littleton. You have a motion second. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a bill for NAS babies to try and make it safer for them once they go home.
All right. Thank you very much for this description. Members, any discussion on House Bill 914? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 914, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later day. So without objection, House Bill 914 goes behind the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee.
All right. Thank you, Chair Lady. All right, members, let's go back to item number 14. Item number 14 on your calendar is House Bill 874 by Chairman Lafferty. You have a motion second. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee. This is a bill, you all remember COVID, I'm sure. There were backups at the labs trying to process these tests that everybody was doing. During that time, some people doing tests ended up using smaller labs that they weren't necessarily contracted with. This is a bill to allow any willing provider that is willing to do the lab work for hospitals or doctors to do that lab work as long as they are willing to accept the price that the insurance company is willing to pay. It is about that simple.
All right. Thank you, Chairman Lafferty. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 874. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 874, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 874 will go behind the budget.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, committee.
All right. Item number 18 is House Bill 329 by Chair Lady Moody. I think she had to step out, so without objection, we're going to roll House Bill 329 to the Hill. Without objection, so moved. That brings us to item number 19. Item number 19, I think, is by Chairman Powers, and I think he is in state government, so he should be making his way in just a little bit. But without objection, we're going to roll House Bill 1242 to the Hill. So moved. Okay, item number 20 is also by Chairman Powers, House Bill 1248. Without objection, we'll roll this one to the Hill. Item number 21 is House Bill 993 by Chairman Powers. Without objection, we'll roll this one to the Hill. Without objection, House Bill 993 to the Hill. Item number 22 is House Bill 505 by Chairman Todd. I have a request to take this bill off notice. So without objection, House Bill 505 is off notice. That brings us to item number 23. Item number 23 is Representative Alexander. I don't see her, so without objection, we'll roll House Bill 937 to the Hill. Okay. All right, there is. Actually, members, we're going to go back now to item number 23, House Bill 937 by Chair Lady Alexander. You have a motion and a second on House Bill 937. You are recognized.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, committee. Thanks for being patient with me in another committee. So, what this bill does is this is our bill for voting centers in Washington County. There is a fiscal note, but we have a letter from the county saying they've already covered that. And we just are not removing any precincts. We're only putting voter centers where the precincts are for the day of voting.
Okay, thank you, Chairman Alexander. Members, you've heard the description. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 937, moving on to full finance. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 937 moves to full finance. All right, that brings us to item number 24 on our calendars, House Bill 938, also by Representative Alexander.
Thank you, Chairman.
Do we have a motion to second? Do we have a motion to second? You're recognized.
This bill legislation creates a process for farmland owners to remove farm property from city boundaries if certain qualifications are met, and there are 6 criteria. I can name those for you if you like, the 6 criteria.
We'll see if there's any questions, if we need to go into detail.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right, sorry.
Members, you've heard the description and discussion. Hearing none and seeing none, since there is a cost associated with House Bill 938, we will have to place it behind the budget, but we do look forward to hearing that description a little bit later. So without objection, House Bill 938 goes behind the budget. Thank you.
It's Ag Day. You should have let me talk.
I know.
Thank you, Committee.
Thank you. All right, that brings us to item number 25. I don't see Representative Butler. I don't think he's in here. So without objection, House Bill 1322 will be rolled to the hill. That brings us to item number 26. And sitting patiently and waiting patiently is House Bill 712. Representative Capley, you have a motion to second. You're recognized, sir.
Appreciate you, Mr. Chairman of the committee. Thank you all so much. Hope you've had a good morning. This would require a 15% increase in wages and salaries to the Department of Corrections.
All right, thank you very much for this description. Members, any discussion on House Bill 712? Hearing none and seeing none, since there is a cost associated with House Bill 712, we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 712 goes behind the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman of the committee.
All right, that brings us to item number 27, which is Representative Gillespie. I don't see him, so without objection, we'll roll House Bill 1085 to the hill. That brings us to item number 28, House Bill 425 by Representative Glenn. I don't see him, so without objection, we'll roll House Bill 525 to the hill. To the hill. Yeah, I know.
Hang on.
All right, we're going to go ahead and grab Representative Powers. Item 19. Let's go to item number 19. Item number 19 on our calendar is Chairman Powers. It's going to be House Bill 1242, and I'll give you just a moment to get there. Again, item number 19. All right,
Thank
we
you,
have a
Mr. Chairman,
motion and
committee.
a second. Sir, you're recognized, and I think you have an amendment that rewrites the bill drafting code 6852. Is that correct?
It may be.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
That's okay. 6852 is what we have.
Yes, and that doesn't really rewrite the bill. All it does is, all we're making.
Okay, let's get, we got a motion.
Yeah.
Got a motion and a second, and it rewrites. Let's get it on the bill, and then you can explain the bill as amended. Any discussion on the amendment? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on Amendment 6852 on the House Bill 1242. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Back on the bill as amended, and you're recognized.
Okay. And, sorry. Yeah, this bill just simply makes xylazine. It's a drug called the zombie drug, and hold on just one moment. Sorry, I went to the wrong bill here. There it is. Okay, sorry. Yeah, it just makes, this is called the zombie drug because what it is, it's actually a veterinarian drug, and they're using it to mix with meth and fentanyl, and it has no, when you use Narcan, if they have an overdose, it doesn't affect it at all, and that's why they call it the zombie drug, or the, on the street name, it's called Trank, but if you take it and it's mixed with another drug, you're dead. There is no, Narcan does not affect it at all. So it is not scheduled at all right now, so what we're trying to do is schedule it as a Schedule 3 drug, and that way we will have some kind of way to look at it and to follow it and to make it a criminal act for someone because it's going to kill someone who takes it.
All right, thank you, Chairman. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 1242. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 1242, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 1242 goes behind the budget. All right, that brings us to item number 20, also by Chairman Powers, House Bill 1248. You have a motion to second. You're recognized for a brief description.
Okay. And
Again,
I have to go to a different 1248?
1248, that's correct.
Okay, yes, 1248 is the Elder Financial Abuse Hotline, and this is a hotline that's going to be created by TBI, and we've worked with TBI and worked with several different other agencies to try to get the language on this correct. Right now, we have over $500 million every year in elderly abuse in Tennessee, and that's only the part that's reported. So this will set up a hotline to prevent the scams of financial exploitation for 65 years and older and vulnerable adults. It will also provide one position for each district attorney office to investigate the crimes. And with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Chairman Powers. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 1248. Any discussion? Chair Lady Hazelwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know the destination for this bill today, but I do hope it's something that we can continue to look at because this is a huge problem for our seniors. And probably all of us have a personal story of somebody that we know that was taken advantage of in this way. So hopefully we'll be able to do something with this after our budget is passed.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Go ahead and mention one
Yes,
thing.
Chairman.
Yeah, yes, and we did work with the governor's office and his staff too to try to put this together, and so hopefully we can get this passed. It's really a good bill, and it's going to be a preventive measure rather than something that we're going to have to follow up on. We're going to try to prevent these before they happen.
All right, Chairman, thank you very much. Members, any more discussion on House Bill 1248? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with this piece of legislation, so without objection, we will place House Bill 1248 behind the budget. All right, brings us to item number 21. Item number 21 is House Bill 993 by Chairman Powers. You have a motion to second. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 993 is the primacy bill that we've been working on for several years. In 2018, in the General Assembly, we passed the Primacy and Reclamation Act of Tennessee, directing the governor to provide oversight to known as primacy. And while it remains an important goal, it's still vital that we have a state-operated program to be fiscally responsible. In the state's efforts to attain primacy, we learned that many of the sites were underbonded, and that $33 million the federal government is liable for would be transferred to us. So in light of these findings, this bill would postpone our efforts to attain primacy until we can be assured the underbonding is addressed by the federal government. During the postponement, TDEC will continue to provide annual reports to the speakers of both chambers on surface coal mining in Tennessee. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll be glad to take any questions.
All right, Chairman, thank you very much. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 993. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, there is the cost associated with House Bill 993, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 993 goes behind the budget. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee.
All right, where does that leave us? Are we back on Butler's here? All right, members, let's go to item number 25 on our calendar. Item number 25 is House Bill 1322 by Representative Butler. You have a motion to second, sir. You are recognized for a brief description on House Bill 1322.
Thank you, Committee and Chairman. This is probably a bill that we can all get behind regardless of the expense, because I'm sure all of you have gotten a phone call to sell you car insurance. And this bill would help control the amount of information that people are gathering from the clerk's office and so forth through government databases. It will monitor that in order to keep so much information from being shared with these organizations that are calling you relentlessly to sell you car insurance. And with that, I'll renew my motion.
All right, thank you, Representative Butler. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 1322. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost. Leader Camper.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know you said car insurance, but are you talking about the extended warranty things too, or are you specifically talking about car insurance? Because we've we have a mandate here to have car insurance, and if you're not, fiscally responsible, and maybe this is where some of this is coming from, but the extended warranty thing, I think, is something a little different.
You're recognized.
It's the extended warranty
Yes.
or whatever else they can come up with to sell you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, members. Any further discussion on House Bill 1322? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 1322, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 1322 will go behind the budget. Thanks,
Thank
sir.
you, committee.
All right, members, let's go to item number 27. Item number 27 is House Bill 1085 by Representative Gillespie. You have a motion and a second.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I have an amendment that makes the bill.
Okay, is that drafting code 5106?
It is.
All right. You have a motion and a second. Let's get this amendment onto the bill, and we'll let you describe it. So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the amendment? Hearing none, seeing none. We're now voting on Amendment 5106, the House Bill 1085. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Back on the bill as amended. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Committee. What this bill allows is the City of Memphis and other partners are going to be making some changes to some infrastructure around town, and this just helps pay for it.
All right. Thank you very much for this description. Members, any discussion on House Bill 1085? Hearing none and seeing none. There is a cost associated with House Bill 1085, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 1085 is behind the budget.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to item number 28. Item number 28 is House Bill 425 by Representative Glenn. Do we have a motion and a second? We have a motion and a second. Sir, you're recognized for a brief description.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, members. Mr. Chair, I bring you this bill about pregnant women in Tennessee who are residents who are eligible or enrolled in TennCare and have a household income at or below 250% of the federal poverty level are eligible for covered kids. What this bill does is, now that the administration has extended postpartum coverage in TennCare, where women will be covered for 12 months rather than 63 days, this bill, working with TennCare, comes up with some language that addresses the issue and give them flexibility to seek a federal waiver for the additional group under covered kids, while simultaneously coinciding with the governor's postpartum extension. And with that, I'll take any questions.
All right. Thank you, Representative Glenn. Members, you've heard the description. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 425, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 425 is behind the budget. Thank you,
Mr. Chair. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, item number 29 on our calendars, House Bill 747 by Representative Jones. I do not see him, so without objection, we will roll House Bill 747 to the hill. Brings us to item number 30. Item number 30 is Representative Leatherwood, House Bill 630. We have a motion and a second. Sir, you're recognized for a brief description.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And there is an amendment.
It's traveling. You are in the proper posture.
5586. And what this amendment addresses are the two legislative recommendations from the Comptroller's Office as a result of their 2022 audit of the Department of Children's Services. The first suggestion was that we do something about the caseload cap, and the second was dealing with the report of non-consensual sex acts at residential DCS facilities not always being investigated. So these are the Comptroller's recommendations for addressing these two issues.
All right, thank you very much for this description. Members, any discussion on House Bill 630? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 630, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 630 goes behind the budget. Thank you. Item number 31 is going to be House Bill 931 by Representative McKenzie. You have a motion to second, sir. You're recognized for a brief description.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill does one thing. Simply, it takes 2% of the funds that are generated through a sports wagering council that goes over to our already flush lottery committee, and it puts it in programs that help out our at-risk youth in our deep urban areas and our deep rural areas. Like I always say, those are basically the same kid. They may look different, but the same kid. This is a cost-neutral bill in that it's just move money from one department to the other and Department of Human Services has graciously agreed to administer the funds.
All right, thank you very much. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 931. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none. There is a cost associated with House Bill 931, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, you're recognized.
But thank you. So there is the cost is moved from one to the other.
Yeah, there's another fiscal impact on it, on the fiscal note. So it's what's called this one. So without objection, House Bill 931 will be placed behind the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee.
All right. Let's go. All right. Members, we're going to go back just a second. Representative Miller, give me just a second. We're going to go back to item number 2. Item number 2 on our calendar is House Bill 947 by Chairman Boyd. You have a motion and a second, sir. You're recognized. Brief description.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman of the committee. And I do have an amendment, Mr. Chairman, that's traveling with the bill.
That's correct.
5317.
Yep, you are.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman of the committee. What this bill seeks to do is it takes the UMRB, that's the Utility Management Review Board, and the WWFB, the Water and Wastewater Financing Board, that are both under the Comptroller's Office, and it merges them together into a new board that will be called TBOR, the Tennessee Board of Utility Regulation.
All right. Thank you very much, Chairman Boyd, for this description. Members, any discussion on House Bill 947? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 947 and moving on to full finance. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 947 moves to full finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You. All right, members, that brings us to item number 18 on our calendar. Item number 18 is going to be by Chairlady Moody. That's House Bill 329. You have a motion to second. You are recognized on the bill. It looks like there is an amendment that has been filed, which is by Chairman Whitson. So we will get the bill in the proper posture, and then we'll let you explain the bill, if that's okay, Chair Lady.
Yes, sir.
All right, drafting code 6529. Do we have a motion to second on the amendment? We have a motion and a second on the amendment. Chairman Whitson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. This amendment simply strips Section 2 of the bill and allows the legislation to move forward with the much-needed $125 million pay increase for our teachers.
All right, thank you.
Move to adopt.
Thank you, Chairman Whitson, for this. Members, you've heard the description of Amendment 6529. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on drafting code 6529 on to House Bill 329. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Amendment is adopted. We're back on the bill as amended. Chair Lady, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. This will now leave Section 1 and, of course, Section 3, which is just the enacting date. But the important part is Section 1. And so it lays out the minimum salary increases on an annual basis. And I can read through them if you want. I know you got a big calendar. I'll be respectful of your time if you would like me to go through those.
I think it would be prudent
All
if
right.
you want to go ahead and mention those.
Excuse me. And thank you for letting me come back at an odd time for you. In 2023, 2024, the increase is up to $42,000. In 24 through 25, it's $44,500. Then in 2025, 2026, it goes up to $47,000. And then in 2026, 2027, it'll be at $50,000.
All right. Thank you, Chair Lady Moody, for this information. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 329. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none. We're now voting on House Bill 329, moving on to full finance. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 329 moves to full finance.
Thank you,
Chair Lady.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee.
All right, members, we're going to back up to item number 12. Yeah, there he is. Hiding over in the corner is Chairman Kiesling. I didn't see him come in. So House Bill 1254, that's again item 12 by Chairman Kiesling. We have a motion and a second. We have a motion and a second. Sir, you're recognized.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. And we have an amendment now on this.
It is traveling with the bill?
Yeah, it is. Thank you. It's traveling. Do I need to give you the tracking code?
Nope, you're good to go. You're in a proper posture.
Okay. This, some of y'all already heard this one. It's regarding the elections improvement cleanup. That's what it's known as. House Bill 1254. There's a couple of sections in the amendment in the bill It amends, we've got a couple of sections there regarding TCA 2-7-112. The first item removes the directive that allows the voter's social security number, and I'm going to abbreviate some of these as we go down through. Item 2 just simply makes it permissive that the voter is able to sign the printed application. Now, in the second section, section 2 of the bill, it amends TCA 2-5-208, and it removes the requirement placed on the state primary boards to prescribe a color for its party ballots across the state, with the requirement for voter variable paper audit trail to be placed in prior to the 2024 elections. Removing the possibility of 3 colors of ballots, only having the white is needed change. So it's wound up going to save them a lot of money for our counties. There's 7 other points that I could add, but and I'll be glad to describe that if you need me to, Chairman. But with that, I'll entertain any questions, and if I can't answer, I'll defer to Joel.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's
a whole lot easier for me.
Wise move there. All righty. We do have someone that has requested to be able to give testimony, Mr. Tim Sweat.
I hope he's here now. I think he's had death in the family.
Okay.
Okay. I think so.
All right. I don't see him coming forward.
No, I haven't heard from him today. So.
Okay. I don't see him coming forward, so we're going to go ahead and open up the discussion.
Sure.
So, members, you've heard the description of House Bill 1254. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 1254, moving on to full finance. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 1254 moves to full finance.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us. Is that Farmer? 5. We're going to go to 5. Members, we're going to go to item number 5. See, Chairman Farmer has made his way in. So item number 5 is House Bill 1351 by Chairman Farmer. Sir, you have a motion to second. You're recognized.
And, Mr. Chair, I do have an amendment there. Do I need to put that on?
It is traveling, so you are in the proper posture.
Members, what this does is this bill was brought to me by the Sheriff's Association. Elected sheriffs are required to have bonds. And right now, with regards to those bonds, there's no statute of limitations. They can get sued about any point in time for anything that happens with their sheriff's deputies. What this will do is put a 1-year statute of limitations on that bond for those sheriffs, just to put it in line with the other torts we have in Tennessee. So that's what it does.
All right. Thank you, Chairman Farmer. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 1351. Any discussion? Here, Chairman Moon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is there any provision for those who self-insure in the text of the bill?
Chairman Farmer.
There's not. There's not.
Chairman Moon. All right. Thank you. Further discussion on House Bill 1351. Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 1351, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 1351 will go behind the budget.
And thank you, members. And Mr. Chair, apologize for the delay. I had a leadership group in town, so just thank you.
We'll forgive you this time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Okay, now we're going back to item number 32. Waiting patiently has been Representative Miller. All right, you have House Bill 1135, and you've got a motion. Second, you recognize, sir.
Effective November 8, 1988, the minimum allowance payment payable to the General Assembly members in the legislative plan was set at $70 per month for each year of service. Annually on July 1st, this amount is increased by the amount of cost of living adjustment granted to members retired at least 12 months. So in 1988, that was $70. Today, that amount is $94.83. So in a 35-year period, that increased to $24.83. What this amendment simply does is to increase that base amount to $120. So what we've taken the $94, added the $24, and that is $120. Now, take into consideration that If, in fact, we had adjusted that to current inflation, that would probably be $174. But this amendment and bill simply says an increase of $120. It doesn't include former members of the General Assembly, but members with at least 10 years of service or more. That is the simplest way I can explain it, the bill, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
All right, Representative Miller, very well done. Members, you've heard the description. Any discussion on House Bill 1135? Hearing none and seeing none, of course, the House Bill 1135 does have a cost associated with it, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 1135 will go behind the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members
Thank
of the
you.
committee.
All right, item number 33, and waiting patiently down in the front row, House Bill 254 by Representative Raper. You have a motion and a second, sir.
Thank you, and I do have an amendment that makes the bill, if it's not already on file.
It is traveling, sir.
Okay.
You are in the proper posture.
Yes, sir. As you're aware, many citizens 65 years of age and older are on fixed incomes that live paycheck to paycheck. Property tax reimbursements are paid on the first $27,000 set forth by General Appropriations Act on full market value. My bill, if passed, would increase the appropriations to $40,000 of full market value. Passing this bill would not only give back to, but it targets one of our most financially needy groups of people. And for full disclosure, I did amend it. It was originally $50,000 due to the fiscal note. I reduced it greatly. I still realize it's high, and if it's passed, it'll go behind the budget. And if, with the permission of the committee and chair, I would like to amend in the future, if it does go behind the budget, and it go to non-recurring, and there be an annual renewal, such as our sales tax on groceries, the break we do there. So, any questions at this point?
All right, thank you, Representative Raper. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 254. Any discussion? And I'll say this, Representative Raper, I think I know what's getting ready to happen to this bill, but you're more than welcome to continue to work on it and to get an amendment ready if you so choose at that time.
Yes, sir.
So,
I do realize the same thing.
all right. Members, any discussion on House Bill 254? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 254, so without objection, we will place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date.
Thank you, committee and
Thank
chair.
you, Representative. All right, item number 34 is House Bill 190 by Representative Ritchie. I've got a request to take this bill off notice, so without objection, House Bill 190 is off notice. Brings us to item number 35 on our calendar, House Bill 345 by Representative Sparks. We got a motion to second. You're recognized, sir, for brief description.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, committee. Basically, what this 345 does is extends the life of a license plate. You can renew it up to 24 months instead of 12 months. And it does have a strong positive fiscal note on it.
Okay, members, you've heard the description of House Bill 345. Is there any discussion on House Bill 345? Chairman Williams.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative Sparks. I know there was someone who carried this bill prior to you.
Yes, sir.
And so I think you should not lose heart. I didn't like it then either. So I won't be supporting your bill today. I think our local communities plan their revenues and their expenditures based upon an annual cycle. Doing it 2 years, I feel like it confuses it based upon the way that happens. So I won't be supporting your bill, but I appreciate the effort. Thank you.
Yeah.
Representative Sparks.
I know the clerks have taken a position that they're okay with the bill, and they weren't okay with it previously. But thank you for your comments, Chairman.
All right, thank you. Members, further discussion on House Bill 345. Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 345, moving on to full finance. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 345 moves to full finance.
Thank you.
That brings us to item number 36. Item number 36 on our calendar is House Bill 139, also by Representative Sparks. We have a motion and a second. We have a motion and a second. You're recognized.
Yes, basically, Chairman, what this does is just ask TASSER to review the home affordability and rising cost of of impact fees. As y'all know, home affordability has impacted every area of the state of Tennessee, and it's just asking them to really look at home affordability. I talked to the speaker, and he said that we could open this up to more discussion about areas that have really adversely impacting the cost of housing. So that's basically what it does.
All right. Thank you very much. Members, you've heard the description of HJR 139. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on HJR 139, moving on to full finance. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Thank you, Chairman.
Bill moves to full finance. That's all right. That brings us to item number 37 on our calendar is by Leader Camper, House Bill 1329, again, item 37. You have a motion to second. You are recognized, Leader. House Bill 1329.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, can I roll to the hill for a second?
You sure can. Without objection, House Bill 1329 will be rolled to the hill. All right, that brings us to item number 38. Item number 38 on our calendar is House Bill 1187 by Representative Garrett. You have a motion and a second, and I see that there is an amendment. Do you want to get the amendment on, Representative, and then we'll discuss the bill? All right. I have drafting code 6663.
That's right, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we have a motion to second? I have a motion to second. Any discussion on this amendment? Hearing none, seeing none, we're now voting on amendment drafting code 006663 on to House Bill 1187. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. We are back when the bill is amended. Sir, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 1187 as amended is regarding the state shared sales tax. As this committee is probably well aware, when the sales tax was increased from 6% to 7% in 2002, that 1% share was never shared back with the cities. So I offered this legislation today on behalf of the 345 cities across Tennessee, which will help, obviously, their taxpayers as they always look for ways to decrease their cost and increase their revenue without raising taxes. So with that, I do know where this is most likely heading, but I want the committee to know that this is the legislation. What it actually does, it also provides for a 6-year phase-in for the cost to minimize the actual fiscal note that the state would have by sharing the revenue back to the cities. So with that explanation, I'll be happy to take any questions.
All right. Thank you, Representative Garrett. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 1187. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none. My thunder's already been stolen, but there is a cost associated with House Bill 1187, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 1187 goes behind the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee.
Thank you, Representative. All right, item number 39 on our calendar is going to be House Bill 361 by Assistant Leader Love. Leader Love, you're recognized. We have a motion to second? You have a motion to second, sir. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 0361 is an attempt to address issues around affordable housing. Many of our nonprofit organizations rent houses below market value, but the unfortunate part is that they still have to pay property taxes at market rate. What this piece of legislation does is it allows a city or county government, if they choose to create a grant program that can be given to those nonprofit organizations that do participate in the program equal to or less than the amount they paid in their property taxes. It's not a reimbursement program, but it's simply to say that if you're a nonprofit organization and you're renting this house or the apartment below market value, you will be able to qualify if the city or county government wants to establish this grant program. The caveat also is that the Comptroller's Office will monitor these programs and approve them, which also gives us a clawback provision in that. With that, Mr. Chairman, I'm available for any questions.
All right. Thank you, Leader Love. Members, any discussion on House Bill 361? Chairman Williams.
Thank you. So if just a thought, I mean, I know it's permissive, which is okay. I guess the question is, what's to prevent a nonprofit from coming in and buying an entire subdivision and calling it that, and then capping the real estate values? Is it, as far as those appraised values, is that a concern for you at all? Or?
Leader Love.
Thank you for the question. So if a nonprofit organization goes in and buys an entire subdivision, they would still have to rent those houses below market value to qualify for the program. And the government entity would still determine the amount of reimbursement for each individual situation. So if that city or county government noticed that that nonprofit was maybe doing this for nefarious reasons, they could set the grant program for 1% or 2%. It's up to the city or county government to determine how much they want the grant award to be.
Good, thank you.
Leader Cochran.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And just for clarity, I think you just went over this, but I may be just still confused on it. Tell me again, what does the grant program do? What is the grant funding used for if they set that up?
So I had a conversation with a lot of nonprofits who rent property below market value. And the struggle was that they still had to pay property taxes as if they were renting at market value. So the issue was, how do we incentivize them to continue to do this, particularly in my district where rents are skyrocketing and they're trying to still rent below market value, but then their property tax is also increasing. So this is a way to say, if the city or county government wants to participate in the program and create their own program, they can grant to the nonprofit organization an amount of money that is capped at whatever their property tax amount that they pay. So they have to already pay their property taxes. And then once they pay that, the city or county government can then decide how much of the grant award they want to make available to that nonprofit organization. I hope I answered the question with that.
Leader Cochran.
Thank you. That did answer it. Thank you.
All right, further discussion. Again, we're on House Bill 361. Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 361, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it. Yes, sir.
We don't take debit cards, do we? Check.
Not today. All right. Now you got me out of sync. I'm going to mess this up now. All right, members, House Bill 361 does have a cost associated with it, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 361 will go behind the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The committee member.
Thank you, Leader. All right, that brings us to item number 40 on our calendar. Item number 40 is House Bill 366 by Leader Love. We have a motion to second. Motion. We have a motion to second. And Leader, I think you've got an amendment drafting code 007082. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, we have a motion to second on the amendment. Leader, do you want to get this on first, and then you can describe the
Yes,
bill as
sir.
a whole? All right. In discussion on the amendment, we do have a motion to second on the amendment. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on amendment drafting code 007082 onto House Bill 366. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. We are back on the bill as amended. And Leader Love, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This piece of legislation on the same floor in the library, not in the same book as the previous bill, an attempt to help persons with affordability for housing. Our property tax freeze program currently caps the income level of the participant at the amount of the average income of persons 62 to 70 years of age in that county. And we currently have 23 counties participating in the property tax freeze program, which is different from the property tax relief program. The property tax freeze program freezes your amount of tax at a certain level. But again, the amount varies from $31,600 to a high amount of $56,790. What that means is an individual living in those counties can only make $31,000 in some instances, or $56,000 in some instances to qualify for the property tax freeze program. What this simply does is, again, permissive, allows those trustee offices, if they want to have the option of also including those persons whose income level is $60,000 or below. So if they want to participate in the program at that level, they can. If they don't want to, they don't have to. But this increases the income limit for persons participating in the property tax freeze program. Again, a permissive bill that the counties are allowed to be engaged in if they want to.
All right. Thank you, Leader, very much. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 366. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 366, moving on to full finance. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 366 moves to full finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members.
Thank you, Leader. All right, members, let's jump back to item number 29. Okay, Item number 29 on our calendar is House Bill 747 by Representative Jones. We have a motion and a second. You have a motion and a second. Sir, you're recognized.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. When a big corporation has a huge disparity in pay between workers and the CEO, it is Tennessee taxpayers who pay for health and food assistance for their workers. We are subsidizing some of the biggest and most profitable corporations in the history of our nation, and it would be completely unnecessary if these companies respected their workers and paid a living wage. This piece of legislation proposes a meager 0.1% tax excise increase for corporations that have nexus in Tennessee. And it can, according to its fiscal note, it can generate an estimated $8 million in revenue for our state. One thing I want to cite to help make this point is a 2020 report from the U.S. Government Office of Government Accountability, where it says millions of full-time workers rely on federal health care and food assistance programs. This report found that 5.7 million Medicaid enrollees and 4.7 million SNAP recipients who worked full-time for 50 or more weeks in 2018 earned wages so low that they qualified for these federal benefits. So once again, it is our taxpayers who are subsidizing these corporations. And in Tennessee, the top companies employing workers who qualified for assistance were Walmart, McDonald's, FedEx, Dollar General, Kroger, and Amazon. The CEO Pay Disparity Act tax begins to reform our broken state tax code by ensuring that large, successful corporations either pay their workers or pay a fair share of taxes. Under this act, the CEO Pay Disparity Act, companies that pay their top executives at least 100 times more than the pay of a median worker would be required to pay this additional, again, 0.1% tax excise increase. Today, a cashier at Walmart in Nashville would have to work more than 823 years to earn what the company's CEO, Doug McMillon, was paid last year. Similarly, a crew member at McDonald's in Nashville would have to work 865 years to earn what the company paid its CEO, Chris Kopinski, in 2021. Tennesseans on both sides of the aisle are appalled by the extreme disparity between CEO and worker pay. Wealthy corporate executives keep doing better no matter what, while working families in Tennessee who help produce the profits and pay their fair share of state taxes are struggling to afford health care, pay rent, and put food on the table. And with that, Mr. Chair, I'm happy to answer any questions on this bill.
Okay, thank you, Representative Jones. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 747. Is there any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 747, moving on to full finance. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. No. The noes have it. Motion fails for lack of majority. Thank you, Representative. All right, that brings us to item number 41. Item number 41 on our calendars, House Bill 862 by Representative Shaw. Do we have a motion and a second? Motion. We have a motion and a second on the bill. Sir, you're recognized.
Thank you, sir. The amendment makes the bill. That's Amendment 4621.
It is traveling, sir. You're in the proper posture to move forward.
Thank you. What it does, it requires the Department of Children's Services to provide juveniles in DCS custody and housed in juvenile detention facilities, hardware secure residential facilities, or youth development centers. It requires them to provide 24-hour, 7-day-a-week psychological behavior health services.
All right. Thank you, Representative Shaw. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 862. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none. House Bill 862 does have a cost associated with it, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 862 is behind the budget.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Representative Shaw. Item number 42 on our calendars, House Bill 186 by Chairman Whitson. You have a motion to second, sir. You are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have an amendment that makes the bill.
Yes, sir. It is traveling, so you are in the proper posture to move forward.
Okay, thank you, sir. And members, this creates a 2-year pilot program administered by TennCare that provides supplemental payments to hospitals and ambulatory surgical centers for the vagus nerve stimulation therapy device implanted into TennCare members. It is used as a last resort treatment for those suffering from drug-resistant epilepsy. It will save the state money in the long run. And for your information, the vagus nerve has nothing to do with gambling. It is the main nerve that runs from your brain to your body. And with that, I renew my motion.
All right. Thank you very much, Chairman Whitson, for this description. Members, any discussion on House Bill 186? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 186, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House 186 goes behind the budget. All right, that brings us to item number 43. Item number 43 on our calendar is House Bill 1199 by Chairman Williams. We have a motion, a second. Sir, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman and members. This bill, as amended, would allow for reimbursement of monies for local or a local diesel college for person who inadvertently didn't get reimbursed for their guard pay. With that, Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, Chairman, thank you very much. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 1199. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 1199, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 1199 is behind the budget. All right, members, that brings us back to item number 37, and I can tell she is ready and chomping at the bit. So item 37
Motion on the bill
is going to be House Bill 1329. You have a motion, a second. It's by Leader Camper, and you are recognized, Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, my senator asked me to take this bill off notice. I just never got the message to you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much, members.
Thank you.
So we do have a request to take House Bill 1329 off notice.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so without objection, seeing none, House Bill 1329 is off notice. All right, members, that completes our calendar for today. Any further business coming before the committee? I see none, so without objection, we stand adjourned.